Let's not sugarcoat this. Masculinity is under attack. And I don't mean in some abstract or exaggerated way. I mean in your everyday life, in the way you're told to talk, act, and think, and behave as a man. Strength is shamed, leadership is questioned, and masculinity itself is constantly labeled as a problem to be fixed. But here's what they won't say out loud. A weak generation of men benefits the system. Weak men are easy to control, easy to manipulate, and easy to ignore. That's why you've got to fight back. Not with outrage or whining, but with self-mastery, with strength, and with a commitment to become the kind of man that the world can't ignore. That's exactly why I built my private coaching program. For men who refuse to be domesticated, men who want to build themselves into something powerful, disciplined, and dangerous in the best ways possible. If that's you, use the first link in the description down below to join now. This is for men who are ready to step out of the herd and take full ownership of their future. If that's you, I invite you to join. Let's break it down. Here's why masculinity is dying and what you need to do to fight back. 1. Society now punishes what it used to reward. There was a time, not too long ago, when a man's strength, decisiveness, and leadership were respected. Now, those same traits are labeled as toxic. Masculine men are told to tone it down, be softer, be more understanding. But what that really means is be less of a man. The traits that build civilization, discipline, aggression, logic, and competitiveness are now seen as flaws. And here's the kicker. While men are told to soften up, the responsibilities haven't changed. You're still expected to provide, protect, and perform. But you're also expected to do it without embracing the very tools that make it possible. This is how masculinity dies, not in one explosive event, but in slow, silent compromises. You give up a bit of your edge to fit in. You stop speaking your mind to avoid backlash. You start doubting your natural instincts because they don't align with the narrative. And before you know it, you're living like a man without a backbone. But here's the truth. The world still needs strong men. Men who won't apologize for leading. Men who are willing to fight, build, and bleed for something greater than themselves. If you're going to survive this cultural shift, you can't just be masculine. You have to be unapologetically masculine. That's how you fight back. Boys are being raised without real men. We're living through consequences of generations of boys growing up without strong male role models, primarily fathers. Single mother households are at an all-time high. Schools run almost entirely by women. And most media figures pushing masculinity are either mocked or censored. So where are young men supposed to learn how to be men? Masculinity isn't something you stumble into. It's forged through mentorship, challenge, and discipline. But right now, most boys are being raised in environments that don't understand men, don't value masculine traits, and don't know how to teach them. So they grow up confused, passive, directionless. And when they speak strength, they're told to suppress it. And make no mistake, this isn't just about kids. If you grew up without a father or with a weak one, then you already know what I'm talking about. You had to figure it out alone. You had to build yourself from scratch, and you're probably still trying to put pieces together. That's why you need to take this seriously. Every man who chooses to become stronger, sharper, and more responsible, he's not just saving himself. He's becoming the role model someone else never had. You want to fight back against the death of masculinity? Be the man you needed growing up. Be the one who breaks the cycle. Masculine men are the last line of defense against chaos. Weak men create weak families. Weak families create weak communities. And weak communities create a chaotic world. That's not a theory, that's history. Masculine men have always been the ones to stand between civilization and collapse. When the storm hits, when the threats come, when everything starts falling apart, people don't run to the soft, fragile types. They run to the men who are grounded, prepared, and unshakable. And right now, we are dangerously low on those types of men. Look around. There's confusion everywhere. No one knows what's true, what's right, or who to trust. And while most men are distracted, scrolling, numbing themselves, or chasing approval, the world is getting more chaotic by the day. This is why masculinity isn't an option. It's a responsibility. You're the one who has to bring order into your life. You're the one who has to set the tone. You're the one who has to lead your family, train your body, sharpen your mind, and defend what you love. And that's what we built inside my private coaching program. We don't coddle. We don't make excuses. We build men who are capable of standing tall while the world is burning around them and still hold the line. Of course, we will encourage you. Of course, we will help you. But at the end of the day, you need to do the work. If you're tired of being soft, tired of being lost, and ready to actually fight back, then join us now. Click the first link in the description down below to join. It's time to become the kind of man the world needs desperately. The death of masculine leads to the death of accountability. Masculinity has always come with a built-in code. Take responsibility. Own your outcomes. But the modern man pushes the opposite. Blame someone else. Play the victim. Avoid consequences. This kind of thinking is poison and it spreads fast. The more men buy into it, the more they forget what it truly means to be accountable. They start blaming their past, their parents, the system, even women, anyone but themselves. But masculinity doesn't work like that. It never has. As a man, your life is yours. No one is coming to rescue you, and no one owes you anything. That's harsh, but it's freeing. Once you take full responsibility, you also take full control. You stop waiting, stop whining, and start building. And guess what? Accountability builds respect. When people know you mean what you say, when they know that you'll show up, follow through, and lead from the front, you become someone worth following. That's the foundation of masculine authority. You earn it. You don't get it handed to you. So if you're serious about fighting back the death of masculinity, you need to start with yourself. Own your words, own your actions, own your future. That's the code. That's the standard. And that's what separates real men from the rest. Masculinity isn't the problem. It's the core. Let's be real. The world doesn't suffer from too much masculinity. It suffers from the lack of real masculinity. What we've seen from weak, insecure, out of control men isn't masculinity. It's the result of men who were never trained, never challenged, and never built into anything solid. Real masculinity is protective. It's focused. It's capable. It doesn't need to shout to be heard or dominate to feel important. It builds, it leads, it sacrifices. And the reason it's under attack is simple. It threatens the weak system built on comfort and complacency. They want you docile, addicted, passive, and afraid. Why? Because a man who doesn't know his power is easy to control. But a man who knows who he is, who builds discipline, strength, skill, and conviction, that man can't be stopped. He becomes a leader, a protector, a threat to mediocrity. So don't believe the lie that masculinity is a flaw. It's your design. It's your edge. And if you want to make a dent in the world, if you want to lead a life that actually matters, it starts with embracing that design fully and without apology. Here's the bottom line. Masculinity is under attack, but it's not dead. Not if you choose to fight back right now. Not if you choose to build yourself into something solid, disciplined, and undeniable. The world doesn't need more passive men. It needs more warriors, more leaders, and more builders. If you're done watching society try to neuter everything masculine, if you want to take back control of your life, rebuild your strength, and become the man you were meant to be, then join my private coaching program. It is not for everyone. It's for the ones who want to rise above the noise and dominate in every area of life. Use the first link in the description now to join, and let's get to work. The death of masculinity isn't inevitable, but it's your responsibility to make sure it doesn't die in you.